So I'm posturizing this. That's the filter that I'm using right now. So this is for all posterity, forever and ever, for the generations. So automatically, the biggest takeaway that I take out of this election, there's actually some new numbers, so that's what this is about. But first, the overall clear thing about this election is the same problem. It's a national problem, but it's a low turnout rate. It's a shitty democracy. This democracy has no democratic legitimacy. Did the majority come out and vote? Did the majority of Pueblo City say, this is the leadership of the Pueblo City Council and the school board, and these are the decisions we want to make on the 5 ballot measures? Did the majority of the people come out and decide what they wanted? No, they didn't. So they didn't come out. The majority didn't come out, so that's not a democracy. I don't know what that's an oligarchy. That's a rule by the few, not the majority. So that's just an oligarchy on its face. 16% of the people decided who the leadership and the ballot questions for everybody else. 16%. So the overwhelming vast majority, 70% or so of the people stayed home. So 70 people stayed home. 70% of the people, so the democracy stayed home. So that means we don't even have people voting. They're not doing anything. So we need to redo this election. This election is illegitimate. This election is no good. We need to redo this election. This election needs to be redone. We need to have a revote, a re-election, recount, do the whole thing. The whole thing is, until we get a majority of the people voting, we don't have a functioning democracy. We don't have a functioning democracy if we don't get the majority of the people to vote. We got an oligarchy, a tyranny of the minority, a tyranny of the 16%. So 16% of the people decided all the decisions for everybody else. That would be your local establishment. And, you know, I'm sure they're okay folks. It's just that they know each other, and they're not deciding what is best for Pueblo City. They're just voting for their buddies, for their friends. And that's not good enough for me. So the new numbers came out. There was actually another set of numbers that came out. This is saying, did I close it? Why would I close it? There's a 9:31, there's a 7 p.m. one, there's an 11:26 p.m. one, and there's a 12:50 p.m. So a 1 o'clock one, right? 1 o'clock, 11:30, 9:30, 7 p.m. So the 1 o'clock report, which I hadn't caught until now, it's 4:15 right now. The 1 o'clock report doesn't change anybody's standing. It doesn't change any of the elections, and all the decisions are the exact same. However, the changes was substantial. They went from a 36, that at-large vote is 36,971. That's the total amount of votes. And at 9:30, those votes were at 32,000. And then at 11:30, it was 35,000. Okay, so that's not as big of a jump as I thought it was. So that was a jump of 1,600 votes. So what does 1,600 votes change? Nothing, not a goddamn thing. A little bit of here, a little bit of there. And then overall, they said there are 2,000 votes outstanding. And there's only a few votes that is past that 2,000 outstanding proof, right? They are the failed proof. So the people that are failed proof, I guess we'll start with those. So Dennis Mays, he conquered the shit out of everybody by 8,000 votes. So that's that's almost mean. That's almost crappy, right? He actually was very humble the entire campaign. I mean, he talked to me. I give him a picture of Maslow's hierarchy to point out that the 1,000 homeless kids, their lives need to be taken care of before you even think about trying to shove information into their heads. They don't have a home. 1,000 of them. We need to get them a home. So I give him that triangle. That's one of my favorite triangles. That's how I look at the world, Maslow's hierarchy of needs. And then I give him the learning pyramid, which is about retention, what teaching tactics can be used to best get the students to retain the information. And then I'm going to give him a list of alternative education theories, which is about 15 to 20. And it was a whole list of a whole bunch of them, and I'm sure he didn't know any of them, but that was kind of the point. So here's the best way to teach, here's the best way to live, and then here's 15 to 20 other ways to educate. You don't have all the answers, so don't think you have all the answers. It's a completely new world. We are in the 21st century. We are in the information age. My God, 2017, some of the things we're talking about. Let's get into the future, right? Everybody needs internet. Everybody needs a laptop. Everybody needs a home. Everybody needs a motherfucking goddamned home. Kids, I mean, are you Christians? Do you hear? You don't even have a shelter for your homeless. And you have 1,000 homeless kids. How many churches you got? Hell, those churches would be good homes for kids. But instead they just sit there. Nobody uses them for most of the week, and they don't pay any damn taxes, but they jump into politics all the time. So, enough about me. 2B won by 6,000 votes, so 2B beat the shit out of the anti-2B. 2B was 2B. 2B or not to be, 2B. So let's exist. Let's keep on existing. And we're going to exist with 24 new cops. One thing to look out for the 2B question is that it's an infinite tax. It says that it could be raised by whatever amounts thereafter. So annually, it's going to be, you know, a half a cent or some shit. I don't know, maybe a quarter cent. But it's going to be, you know, half cent. Let's just go with half cent because that's rounding up. But if you could raise it up by whatever, it could go up 3/4 of a cent, 1 cent, 2 cents, or a whole dollar, like they're doing on the water bill with the street repair tax. Or $100 billion. Fuck it, who gives a shit? So that's the clause that scared the shit out of me. I could not vote for 2B because of that clause. So the infinite tax, by whatever amounts it could be raised. So look out for that. Hopefully, if the intent of it was that it was a 5-year tax, and I think it's 1.8 million. I don't know. I think it's 16 or 18 million dollars over 5 years. So they're going to get 18, maybe 16 million dollars over 5 years, and then that's it. And then the tax is over. So let's make sure we keep on them about that. So 2B should get them 24 new cops, and I guess they're getting paid each one of those years. Most people say a temporary tax usually becomes a permanent tax. That seems like that could become a permanent tax. 2A, it only won by 681, so it's not 2,000. It's not fail-proof. I don't think fail-proof is the standard. So far, the people that have been leading continue to lead. So there seems to be a general trend with the votes, and I expect the general trend to continue with the 2,000, but it is possible that those 2,000s could change some of these elections, especially a close election such as Mark Aliff. Mark Aliff won, but by 230 votes, by the skin of his chinny chin chin. Very, very narrow victory. 5,929. Kevin Cover was only behind him in third place by 230 votes. So 2,000 votes could turn 230 around. And Kevin Cover is the person to look out for in that race. But let's look at Joe Latino. 4604. 2,000 votes. That would be 6,000. So Joe Latino, theoretically, could get enough votes to overtake Mark Aliff and then take Mark Aliff's seat. He thinks he won last night, but you never know until the fat lady sings. Right? And so Brown, he won by more than 2,000 votes. So Brown is in there. Let me say something about Josh Bruns. He was the only progressive, the only true blue progressive. This is supposed to be a progressive city. How come only one progressive ran for election? Only one true blue, thorough, oh my God, his progressive, Noam Chomsky. Noam Chomsky is his, intellectual hero. So that should tell you something. I don't know exactly what, but Noam Chomsky is critical of American foreign policy. He's a linguist. He's popular for the Chomsky Revolution in linguistics. So he's got a number of things going on for him. But Josh Bruns got 2,105 votes. How many people can say they got 2,000 votes? Josh Bruns' campaign was very low key. Very low key. He went around giving people half a piece of paper of his platform. Josh Bruns was one of the few people that had a platform, and anybody who did their due diligence, anybody who said, okay, here's Ed Brown, here's Josh Bruns, let me look into them. Let me see who these two folks are. And I'm going to pick the best one for Pueblo City. Picked Josh Bruns. I didn't vote for Josh Bruns. I advocated strongly for him, and I feel good about it. I feel good about it. Josh Bruns would have been an amazing city council man. He would have been way better than Ed Brown. He had a million ideas. Ed Brown didn't have any. Ed Brown does have one, so you're going to get the recycling center, Pueblo City. So watch out, you're getting a recycling center, and it's not plastics or metal. It's just cardboard and paper. But, you know, Ed Brown thought of it all by himself, right? So he thought about it all by himself, and that's what you all voted for. You didn't vote for a dynamic, exciting, young candidate with brand new ideas, with a different way of looking at things. Instead, you went with your buddy, the establishment, a safe choice. His voting style is to do whatever Steve Noraki tells him to do. So is he a Democrat? I'm not for sure about that, because they split. There's 2 Republicans, 2 Democrats, possibly, if Ed Brown is a Democrat, which he seems like he's got a liberal drug policy, but so does Michael Stapleton, and he's conservative as hell. So they could be conserving freedoms, right? So I don't know where Ed Brown is, if he's a Democrat or what. I want to talk a little bit about Ed Brown in a second. But Josh Bruns ran a positive campaign, low-key campaign, and went on to the, he's got a job, he's working class, he's actually poor. He's going around, and he's, while maintaining a job, going to the Latino Chamber of Commerce, giving a 2-minute, 3-minute speech, went to the debate, went to candidating. So he talked to different people at round tables and built up relationships. And he went door to door and passed out that little piece of paper to thousands of people. So Josh Bruns had an effect. Josh Bruns made a dent in, you know, the conversation, in the narrative that Pueblo City needed to have, but did not have. Pueblo City did not have the discussion that we needed to have in order to actually fix our institutionalized structural issues, such as poverty and homelessness. Josh Bruns would have done that. So with the good old boys taking several seats, I think that's in jeopardy. Are we going to solve homelessness and poverty? That's the first main fucking thing that needs to be solved. You take your attention off that. You take your eyes off the prize. You take your eyes off the ball. You're not going to solve homelessness and poverty. Oh my God, poverty, that's a whole nother animal. Homelessness is easy compared to poverty. You know how you solve homelessness? You know, the people who don't have any homes, where you find homes and then you put those people inside those homes. That's how you solve homelessness. Poverty, that's a different ball of wax now, isn't it? That's a different cat to skin. What a crappy idiomatic expression is that? I've never, just for the record, I've never skinned a cat, ever. So, Dennis Flores. He won by 3,000 and so votes. So Dennis Flores is a guaranteed winner. Dennis Mays is a guaranteed winner. Taylor Voss beat the third place winner by 1,700. So he's not guaranteed. 2,000 votes could take Taylor Voss's election away. So Mark Aliff, he's only 230 away. So it's not that close. But 1,700 means it's possible. Is it going to happen? No. Taylor Voss, congratulations. You still have your chair. Mark Aliff, I think you still have your seat too. But it's possible, right? So when the new numbers come out, I'll just like everybody else, I'll check to see if my conclusions are correct. If they're not, I will correct the record. But I guarantee you 95% of everything that I'm saying is 100% correct. 95% of what I'm saying is 100% correct. So there might be 5% of it, but still, this is my educated guess anyways. What the fuck did you think this was? I'm not making money doing this shit. What do you think this is? 300, it failed by 600 votes, so it could be overturned too. 2B won by 6,000, it cannot be overturned. The street enterprise won by 3,000 votes. It cannot be overturned. 1A, the county jail, failed by 2,500 votes, so it cannot be overturned. So we got some guaranteed 100% victories. I think you could still, mark it down, everything that I'm saying. 95% of it's correct. So, Ed Brown is a guaranteed winner. Dennis Flores is a guaranteed winner. And then you have some other people. Bob Schilling only won by 300 or 400 votes. He's not guaranteed. Dennis Flores is guaranteed. Ed Brown is guaranteed. Dennis Mays is guaranteed. Those are the candidates that are guaranteed to win. And so Taylor Voss barely has a chance of not winning. Mark Aliff has actually kind of a realistic chance of not winning. And so those are the candidates. So the guaranteed winners are Dennis Mays, Dennis Flores, the two Dennises, and Ed Brown. And Taylor Voss. Come on, let's be real. And Bob Schilling and Mark Aliff. But Bob Schilling is down 300 to 400, so that's possible too. Bob Schilling could be overturned, that victory. I don't know where the 2,000 votes are. It's probably a very low chance that it's coming out of District 1. Let alone all of them being for one of the candidates. He lost by 300 to 400 votes, so that could be overturned. That would be Tommy Farrell. Tommy Farrell could overtake Bob Schilling, theoretically. Mark Aliff could lose. But anyways, I've said that too many times. Let's go down this ballot questions. The county jail, the River Styx, the rape and torture chamber is a no-go, and it was smashed 18,000 to 15,529, so by about 2,500 votes. So the county jails, sorry county, why don't you let the city use the fucking jail now, and why don't you quit arresting petty offenders, petty possession, knock that shit off and stop arresting homeless people and find them some homes. That's what I want. Our police, we love our police here. Did you understand? Did you hear that? Troy Davenport and the Pueblo Police Department, we love you guys. We love you guys. Oh my God, that's another guaranteed right. To be 6,000 votes by 6,000 votes. It wasn't even a close question. You want us to pay a little bit more on our sales tax to get a couple more you guys, get 2 more dozen, couple more handful. You're damn right we'll do it. And we'll even chance an infinite tax of you all raising it by whatever. But, I'm going to keep an eye on y'all. So, the 2B is guaranteed. The street enterprise tax on our water bills is guaranteed. The green, diamond-encrusted golden streets. So, the street tax, the street repair tax is guaranteed. 2B is guaranteed. The county jail is guaranteed to fail, to not be built, to not have anybody's land, nobody's being eminent domain, nobody's being bought out, there's not going to be a tunnel built. The River Styx will not be built. $315 million. Jesus Christ. Okay, so it's guaranteed. It's beat them by 2,500, so there's no way that it can lose. So good fucking riddance. Goodbye, jail. Hello, street repair tax. And hello, 24 new police officers. Now, 2A, this is DOA anyways. The strong mayor barely won 681, so even if it got overturned, I look forward to going to court and wondering, what's their argument? What's your argument? It says right there, Charter Convention, what in the hell can you possibly respond to what you all did? That's going to be my argument. Just one sentence, essentially. So, 681 is not guaranteed. It could be overturned, but it doesn't matter anyways. So, I'll have fun with it if it passes. If it doesn't pass, then that's what should have happened to it anyways. 300 was close to 600, so it could be overturned as well. 300 failed, which that's a good thing. So good that 300 failed. Good that the county jail failed. Good that the street repair tax passed. Good that Dennis Flores got elected. Good that Mark Aliff got elected. Bad on Ed Brown. You missed an opportunity there. Bad on Schilling. You missed two great opportunities there at Pueblo City. And good for Voss, and we'll see with Mays. To be determined with Mays. Is he a progressive or is he a regressive? Is he going to defend the students along with the parents and the teachers and administrators? Is he going to be a fair legislator? Because now he used to be 16, 17 years on the bench, the chief head justice, the king of all the 10th judicial district, the entire judicial branch of Pueblo County. And now he's sitting on this volunteer, non-paid legislative board of D60 schools, which is just the city schools, not the county schools. So, not a demotion. He's an old man. He didn't have to do any of this, but, you know, I think he's trying to give back. I'll give Dennis Mays the benefit of the doubt, and we'll see what happens there. So, you know, I wanted Kenny O'Neill to win, but Dennis Mays was my third choice. O'Neill was in a precarious spot. I can't give O'Neill, you know, I can't say nothing bad about O'Neill. He was awesome, actually. He's a humble Obama. He's smart, intelligent, kind. Probably too nice. Too kind. He didn't have to be that nice. Why has he got to be so damn nice? Because he's getting judged twice as hard? Okay. So, yeah. Voss, he has an Einstein mentality. He says that he believes experience is a good teaching mechanism. The learning pyramid says that teaching others is the best way to get children to retain information. How do you get the students to retain information? You get them to teach others. That gets them to retain information. The second plank, that's a 90% retention rate. When they're teaching other people, they have a 90% retention rate. With 75% retention rate, the second place, the second best teaching mechanism to teach students is experience. So he's got the second plank of the learning pyramid, and experience, Albert Einstein said all education is experience and everything else is information. And that's all they do, sit and get. It's just information. That's all they're getting. If they've never lived life, how can they analyze or think about it or write anything, you know, creative? Or how do they know if any of what they're learning is going to be meaningful ever? What experiences do they have to relate to? So Einstein, he's got the Einstein. That's one of his favorite educational theorists. He didn't know about that till I told him. But he believes in experience, and that's an Einsteinian idea. He also knows that Einstein and Mark Twain had a quote about schooling interfering with education. And I said it, and I said it with a chuckle, but he said it like deadpan, like so serious. And I like that in a way, that he's that serious. It's almost kind of like, have I not been taking life as serious as I should be taking it? But he had listened to me, and when I said the Mark Twain quote that he would never let his schooling interfere with his education, I was like, and he was kind of like, yeah. And so he basically, Mark Twain and Albert Stein have the exact same quote or identical quotes when it comes to that. Taylor Voss also is the one that mentioned the 1,000 homeless kids. Taylor Voss is also, he believes in the discovery model. So for the kids to figure life on their own, to let their curiosity be their guide, to give them more autonomy, more freedom, and albeit, perhaps, maybe, some freedom and democracy. So he's right there. He's right at the cusp. But I don't know. I have my doubts. And Taylor Voss, so he mentioned the 1,000 homeless kids. I don't know where he got that number at. He tried to downplay how homeless they were. He's like, well, they don't live in a ditch. Because I was like, you know, if they're living in a ditch, how are you going to teach them math? You know, they're living in a damn ditch. They don't need to listen to any of your damn books. They need to be violent and psychotic and, you know, overturn tables and say, what the hell are you making me do this shit for? I don't have a goddamn home to live in. I don't have one place to put my books and my homework. I don't even know a pencil. I don't even have a permanent place to put a pencil, let alone myself. Are you kidding? Why? Quit fucking around, you assholes. I don't have a home. Give me a goddamn home. There should be a separate program, separate school for the homeless kids so they can figure that out. That's the first challenge they've got to figure out. They've got to figure that out. And so anybody wants to block that shit, fuck you guys. That's bullshit. You want to have power and control so goddamn much you're not even letting homeless kids find homes for themselves? You guys are sick. You're sick fucking people. The people who's let this shit happen. So the people that's going in there to change things, you know, I have hope for you all. Dottie Calhoun mentioned a school garden. I think it's a good idea. Why not have a school garden? That might be the only good idea she had entertained. She did say, you know, fire the superintendent. So I'll give her credit for that too. And then Ed Brown. So Ed Brown, let's see, Dennis Flores is a Democrat. Mark Aliff is a Republican. Ed Brown, I don't know. Bob Schilling is a Republican. And so essentially, if Ed Brown's a Democrat, then that's a split 2-2. If he's a Republican, then this was a Republican fucking, you know, avalanche. Now, they come to, I believe, left of center, Nichols, Atencio, and Aguilera. So you had 3 left of center folks that was in there. And so since they split it, that actually means there'll be 5. If Ed Brown's a Democrat, 5, if not 4. But 5 Democrats and 2 Republicans. So the Democrats would have the clear majority with Ed Brown as a Democrat. The reason why I think he's a Democrat is because he believes in a liberal drug policy. He believes in a liberal drug policy up to the point of decriminalization like that we do in Portugal. Like we do in Portugal, including heroin and crack. That's what he said at the candidating. There are witnesses. I swear to you. So that's a very good progressive thing. He's in favor of municipal Wi-Fi. He's in favor of waste-to-energy technology like they're doing in Grand Junction. He's pro-trash incinerator. He wants to condemn the power stations, which I believe he's probably wrong about, but it also seems like who gives a shit. Battery in a solar station, Jason Munez's idea. Turn those power stations into a battery and solar station. That'll give us the model of what direction the solar city. The solar city. That's what we should market ourselves as. Mark Aliff. So Mark Aliff is now on the city council. Maybe he could come up with a motto for our city. I also like technology. So the Silicon Valley or the Napa Valley for marijuana. So something to do with technology, something to do with marijuana, something to do with solar power, with all of our sunlight. So that is how we should market our city. Those 3 things. Hell, why not just do all 3 of those things, right? And can I get an amen? Municipal electricity is a possibility for Ed Brown. He did not want a homeless shelter. So Ed Brown's fucking policy is worse. His homelessness policy is worse than Mark Aliff. Mark Aliff at one point said, fuck the homeless. But then Mark Aliff turned around when I said, hey man, you know, Jason Munez is for a homeless shelter. You got to give me something. And so he said, okay, the kids. He'll give it to the kids and the worthy. He'll build 100 homes. But he's not going to build a whole bunch of homes. He's not going to build a whole bunch of them to where everybody and anybody's going to start coming here. He's going to build just a few here and there and take care of the worthy and to take care of the kids. So I think we can get 30. I think we can get 100 at least. If not 1,000, 1,000 takes care. We have 1,000 homeless kids. So they would need at least 1,000 homes if we can't, you know, find homes. He was against eminent domain, Mark Aliff was, but he was for taking one of the buildings that we own and that we have and using that to use as a homeless shelter. I believe that's what Null Rocky is doing anyways. So municipal electricity is a possibility for Ed Brown. Decriminalization like they're doing in Portugal. Pro Wi-Fi. Municipal Wi-Fi, so we should do that anyways. It's just a good idea. We have to get it on the ballot, so we won't even get Wi-Fi for another year, but why not put it on the ballot for next year? So let's get prepared. Let's go ahead and put this thing right on the ballot. And then we need a homeless shelter. Ed Brown, so you're fucking wrong about that. You know, take a lesson from Mark Aliff. Or actually, maybe not. Take a lesson from, you know, the Democrats. Dennis Flores, Chris Nichols, Atencio, or Aguilera. And Wayside and Posada, you know, if you want to keep funding them, whatever, but they're not doing enough. And he's wrong about Pedco. Pedco, he controls Pedco, but Pedco is a corporatist bullshit. John Oliver actually ran a piece about this. Governments compete in order to get these big fucking corporations, so we give them fucking millions of dollars, and then they just provide a few jobs and then fuck us over just like Express Scripts. We got a few successes, but they've only given us, you know, 20 jobs, 40 jobs. They're not huge successes, so this Pedco thing is barely working. He also didn't believe that we should have grocery store on the east side. So Ed Brown is wrong about that. That's a pro-corporatist. Pedco is corporatism. And I think Dennis Flores is for that too. So those are Democrats, possibly Democrats. He has a liberal drug policy, so that's why I'm assuming Ed Brown's a Democrat. Even if he's not, Democrats have the majority 4-3 So Democrats still control city council. So that's a good thing. All right. So it's not my fault. It's and I guess more later.